Something wild is happening in the luxury world right now, and nobody expected it. Luxury brands, the same ones that used to guard their handbags like crown jewels, are suddenly trying to dump certain bags as fast as they can. Quietly, secretly, desperately. They're not announcing it, they're not advertising it, and they definitely don't want shoppers knowing which bags they're pushing out the back door before the year ends. But the signs are everywhere. Bags that used to take months to find, suddenly available in all colors. Styles that were impossible to score without an established buying history, now they're showing up in outlet stores, private sales, consignment platforms, and even those hush-hush employees-only clearance events brands pretend don't exist. And the funniest part? Luxury houses are acting like everything is normal, while doing everything in their power to get rid of the bags they know won't survive another season. Why? Because trends collapsed overnight. Because the resale market exposed which designs are sinking in value. Customers have completely shifted their taste and influencers moved on. And because 2025 is shaping up to be one of the strangest years luxury has had in a long, long time. So today, we're counting down 9 bags. Luxury houses are trying to dump as fast as possible. The ones they're quietly liquidating, clearing out, discounting behind the scenes, and hoping nobody notices disappearing from shelves. If number 9 surprises you, wait until we reach the top. Number 1 is going to make your eyebrows touch your hairline. Let's get into it. Number 9. The Louis Vuitton Multi-Pochette Accessoires. We're starting strong, with a bag that used to dominate every street, every feed, and every influencer's closet. The Louis Vuitton Multi-Pochette Accessoires. When it first dropped, this thing wasn't just popular, it was a movement. It was the it bag of 2019 and 2020. The bag that made everyone say, oh wow, Louis Vuitton really did something new. But by 2025, Louis Vuitton is trying to get rid of it faster than you can say micro-trend burnout. What happened? Simple. It got too famous. For a while, the multi-pochette was everywhere. Green strap, pink strap, khaki strap, all over TikTok, all over Instagram, all over every brunch spot where influencers gathered to compare logo-heavy accessories like Pokemon cards. But luxury trends don't die quietly. They collapse with drama. First, everyone bought it. Then everyone copied it. Then everyone got tired of seeing it. And now, Louis Vuitton boutiques can't move these things at full price anymore. The craziest part is that Louis Vuitton isn't announcing anything. They're not saying, hey, this bag isn't doing well. Brands never admit that. Instead, they're quietly slipping the multi-pochette into private client sales, seasonal clearance lists, and off-season stock rotations. Some stores are even letting sales associates suggest it more aggressively, which is luxury code for, please take this off our hands before headquarters asks why it's still here. And if you want the real tea, here it is. The multi-pochette was a pandemic-era bag. It thrived when everyone was in athleisure and wanted a crossbody that felt sporty, casual, and tech-wear adjacent. But now that fashion has shifted back toward elegance and minimalism. The chunky straps and multiple pouches suddenly feel chaotic. Louis Vuitton knows it. Resale platforms know it. Buyers definitely know it. And that's why this once famous, once impossible to get bag is now being quietly dumped behind the scenes before the brand repositions its entire line for the new quiet luxury era. Number 8. The Gucci Dionysus. If Louis Vuitton quietly slipping the multi-pochette out the door felt surprising, Gucci's next move feels downright dramatic. Because the moment the fashion world noticed Louis letting go, Gucci basically said, all right, let's speed this up, and started funneling the Dionysus out of boutiques like it's on a countdown timer. And it's wild when you think about it, because the Dionysus used to be everywhere. It dominated the mid-2010s. The chain strap, the structured body, the thick, unmistakable horseshoe clasp. It was the definition of a signature bag. When you saw someone carrying a Dionysus, you didn't need to guess the brand. The bag introduced itself. But here in 2025, that's exactly the problem. The Dionysus is too recognizable. In a world that now worships subtlety, quiet luxury isn't just a phrase, it's practically the dress code of the decade. Everyone's ditching loud logos and oversized hardware for softer, understated designs. And the Dionysus? She is not quiet, not subtle, not trying to blend into anything. So Gucci is doing what luxury brands do when a bag no longer fits the new era, pretending it's still iconic while gently ushering it toward the exit. Boutique associates are suddenly recommending it with suspicious enthusiasm. Seasonal variations are moving into special client opportunities, which is luxury speak for "please, someone take this." And a few versions, especially the monogram canvas ones, have already begun slipping into secondary channels in unusually high numbers. Part of this is strategy. Gucci is in the middle of redefining its identity under Sabato de Sarno's minimalist vision. The brand is shifting away from loud statement pieces and stepping into cleaner silhouettes. And clearing out inventory means making room for the new Gucci, which leaves the Dionysus stuck in a fashion time capsule. It's still a gorgeous bag, still beautifully made. But in 2025's luxury climate, it's the wrong kind of statement, which is exactly why Gucci is trying to move it quietly, quickly, and with a smile that says, "You didn't hear this from us." And if Gucci quietly pushing the Dionysus out the door raised your eyebrows, the next brand is going to make you wonder if luxury houses ever truly believe in their own designs. Because the bag they're trying to dump now was supposed to be their next big hit. Number 7. The Prada Cleo. The Prada Cleo was supposed to be the revival moment. When Prada reintroduced it, the fashion world stopped for a second. Sleek, minimalist, sculptural, a silhouette inspired by their 1990s archives, right on time for the 90s revival trend. For a while, the Cleo had everything going for it. Celebrities wore it, street-style girls wore it. TikTok crowned it the new Prada essential. But trends don't just fade in 2025, they vanish like someone turned off a switch. And the Cleo became one of those bags luxury brands dread, the bag that peaked early and crashed even earlier. Prada didn't expect that. What they did expect was a nice long runway of popularity. What they got instead was a bag trapped between two eras. Not iconic enough to be timeless, not trendy enough to survive the shift toward ultra-sophisticated silhouettes. Owners started noticing something else too. The Cleo scratches easily, too easily. The mirror-like leather can pick up micro scratches if you so much as look at it the wrong way. Some customers said theirs looked worn after a single outing. And in a world where people expect luxury bags to photograph flawlessly from every angle, the Cleo's fragility became a real problem. Then came the silent killer, the resale market. Cleo prices dipped fast. Not a gentle dip, a steep one. A few influencers openly said it wasn't worth the price anymore. Consignment stores reported an overdose of Cleos being traded in barely used. And once a bag starts flooding resale, luxury brands panic because oversupply kills mystique. That's when Prada did what all luxury houses do when a style stops holding power. They began moving units behind the scenes, quiet employee sales, heavily suggested add-ons during boutique appointments, more colors showing up in private client previews, and some variations disappearing entirely from the main floor. Prada isn't dropping the Cleo officially. That would admit defeat. But they're absolutely trying to empty storage rooms before the bag becomes a full-blown liability. And if Prada clearing out the Cleo feels like a brand trying to quietly erase a trend miscalculation, the next one is even more surprising because this bag didn't just fall off trend. It became the poster child for luxury brands misreading the assignment. Number 6. The Balenciaga Hourglass bag. The Balenciaga Hourglass bag was supposed to be the moment. When it debuted, critics called it sculptural genius. The curve, the sharp edges, the raised arch shape. It was unlike anything else on the market. Balenciaga pushed it hard too. Runways, celebrities, magazine covers, influencer campaigns. For about 2 straight years, the Hourglass was the fashion world's eccentric darling. But here in 2025, Balenciaga is trying to get rid of this bag faster than a bad haircut. Part of the downfall, yes, was the global scandal that hit the brand and damaged its public reputation. That controversy left Balenciaga scrambling for months, and the Hourglass never fully recovered from the association. But even without the scandal, this bag was heading for trouble, because the Hourglass is loud. Loud in shape, structure, branding. Loud in everything. And loud luxury is completely out. Consumers moved on, fashion shifted, the quiet luxury wave washed over everything. Deep, Neutral tones, softer silhouettes, discreet hardware, minimal logos. In a world obsessed with looking effortlessly chic, the Hourglass suddenly felt like the fashion equivalent of yelling in a library. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The Hourglass turned out to be incredibly impractical. Owners began complaining that the tiny top handle is too small to grab comfortably. The flap opening is stiff and awkward. The curved bottom makes it hard to set down anywhere. Almost nothing fits inside. Even the larger sizing is deceiving. And the bag shape warps after prolonged use. In luxury, design quirks are forgivable, but design flaws? Those get punished fast. Then came the resale crash. The nail in the coffin. The Hourglass went from being a trend trophy to a bag struggling to sell at half its original price. Resale platforms are overloaded with them. Some listings sit untouched for months. And when a bag fails on the resale market, brands know the trend is officially dead. Balenciaga's response? Quiet liquidation. More Hourglass bags showing up in internal employee sales. More unexpected stock in outlet locations. More surprise availability in boutiques. More pressure on sales associates to push them onto undecided buyers. It's a textbook fashion phase-out. Subtle, quick, and strategic. If Balenciaga trying to quietly bury the Hourglass felt like a predictable consequence of a messy era, the next brand is a whole different kind of surprise, because this one didn't collapse from scandal or bad press. It collapsed because the brand completely misjudged what luxury buyers actually want. Number 5. The Givenchy Antigona Soft. Givenchy has been struggling to define its modern identity for a while now, and nothing represents that identity crisis more clearly than the Antigona Soft. When it first launched, Givenchy positioned it as a relaxed, contemporary version of the original Antigona, a bag that used to be a celebrity favorite and a genuine bestseller. So naturally, the brand thought softening the structure and making it slouchy would give the style a new life. But in 2025, Givenchy is trying to move this bag out of boutiques as quietly as possible. Why? Because the Antigona Soft walked straight into a market that didn't want it. Here's the thing. Luxury analysts rarely say out loud, slouchy bags only sell when sell. The brand already has a powerful hit in that silhouette. Think Bottega's Jody or Loewe's Puzzle. Givenchy doesn't have that. The original Antigona was celebrated because it was structured, sharp, and sleek. Its power came from its distinct shape. So the moment Givenchy released a limp, relaxed version, the fashion crowd immediately felt underwhelmed. It wasn't elegant enough to be high luxury. It wasn't iconic enough to justify the price, and it wasn't practical enough to replace people's everyday bags. Buyers complained about the same issues over and over. The slouch collapses awkwardly when you set it down. The interior loses shape quickly. The bag looks older than it is after a few uses. The silhouette feels unfinished, especially in larger sizes. But the biggest hit came from the resale market, which rejected the Antigona Soft immediately. Prices sank almost instantly, making buyers hesitant to purchase it new. And once the resale market turns its back on a bag, the brand has two options: pretend everything is fine, or quietly push stock out before it piles up. Givenchy chose the quiet route. Some boutiques have been offering the Antigona Soft as an alternative option when clients ask for more popular styles. Some regions have reduced stock completely, and insiders claim it's now one of the most discounted bags in Givenchy's internal sales. Givenchy wanted a reinvention. What they got instead was a bag they're now rushing to phase out. Givenchy's Antigona Soft struggled because they reinvented something that didn't need reinventing. The next brand went wrong in the opposite direction. They doubled down on a trend long after the world had already moved on. Number 4. The YSL Loulou. The Saint Laurent Loulou was once unstoppable. It had that plush, pillow-like quilting, the oversized YSL logo, the shoulder-friendly chain, everything Instagram-era luxury buyers wanted. For a few years, it was everywhere. It was the cool girl bag, the dependable night-out bag, the influencer starter pack bag. But in 2025, Saint Laurent is trying to move the Loulou out as quietly as they can, because the bag has officially hit the luxury fatigue wall. The Loulou didn't fail because it was bad. It failed because it was everywhere for too long. You couldn't walk through any major city without seeing it in every color, every size, every finish. And luxury doesn't survive overexposure. Once a bag becomes the default choice for everyone, it loses the specialness that justifies its price. Then came the next issue. The Loulou doesn't age gracefully. The ultra-soft leather flattens and dents faster than expected. Corners wear out quickly. The bag loses its pillow shape with daily use. And many owners complained that the chains dig into the shoulder after a few hours. Luxury buyers in 2025 care deeply about longevity. If a bag can't hold its structure, it gets demoted immediately. And then, the resale market delivered the final blow. Loulou prices dropped dramatically. Some sell for less than half of retail, sometimes even lower if it's a lighter color or the small size. Consignment stores are drowning in Loulous. They don't reject them entirely, but they still price them aggressively because demand has cooled so much. Saint Laurent has definitely taken notice. That's why more Loulous are appearing in employee sample sales, more unusual colors are popping up in outlet stock lists, and more sales associates are quietly recommending them to clients who didn't even ask about them. A classic luxury brand tactic for clearing aging inventory. This doesn't mean YSL is dying. It means the Loulou era is finally over, and the brand is ready to pivot towards sleeker, more structured designs that fit the new minimal luxury wave. By now, you're probably thinking, all right, these brands make sense. They've had messy years. But the next one? This is where things start feeling personal, because this bag went from celebrity favorite to please someone buy this so we can stop pretending it's still iconic. Number 3, the Fendi Peekaboo standard version. Yes, the Peekaboo. Not the micro versions, not the updated Celleria editions. We're talking about the classic, standard Peekaboo that Fendi pushed as their flagship, timeless investment bag. For years, the Peekaboo was positioned as the anti-baguette, the grown-up Fendi, the sophisticated Fendi, the I'm in my premium era Fendi. But in 2025, Fendi is desperately trying to rotate this bag out before everyone realizes it hasn't been selling like it used to. Here's why. The Peekaboo is deceptively heavy. People don't realize this until they own one. That beautiful rigid frame, it adds weight. Lots of it. Enough that many owners have quietly admitted they stopped using it because carrying it for a full day feels like arm day at the gym. Then there's the price creep. Fendi kept raising prices every year, while the demand wasn't rising at the same rate. The Peekaboo entered a weird zone where it was too expensive for casual buyers, but not iconic enough for collectors. And fashion shifts didn't help. The Peekaboo silhouette is structured, formal, very editor chic, but 2025 buyers want something softer, lighter, easier, a bag you can dress up or down. The Peekaboo sits in an awkward middle space that no longer matches the lifestyle or aesthetic of modern shoppers. But the biggest punch? Resale value fell off a cliff. Some versions are now selling for less than 40% of retail, a terrible sign for any luxury house. And once the resale market gives up on a bag, the brand either revamps it or quietly tries to get rid of the remaining stock. Guess which one Fendi chose? Boutiques in several regions have reported more Peekaboos being offered behind the scenes, more unexpected availability, and more colors suddenly appearing after being sold out for years. It's not an official retirement, but it's the luxury equivalent of slowly dimming the lights and hoping no one asks questions. All right, if the Peekaboo quietly fading out felt like a slow heartbreak, this next one feels more like a plot twist, because no one, and I mean no one, expected this bag to end up on the clearance conveyor belt. Yet here we are, watching a former superstar get pushed out like a one-season reality TV contestant who overstayed their welcome. Number 2, the Dior Saddle bag. This one hurts for a lot of people, because the Dior saddlebag had one of the most dramatic comebacks in luxury history. When Maria Grazia Chiuri reintroduced it, the fashion world erupted. It was nostalgic, edgy, and instantly recognizable. For a moment, the saddlebag was everywhere. Red carpets, fashion weeks, celebrity airports, even grocery store paparazzi photos. It was the bag, but nostalgia has an expiration date. And in 2025, Dior is trying to slip the saddlebag off shelves with the same quiet urgency as someone trying to delete embarrassing photos before anyone sees them. Let's break down why. First, The saddlebag is objectively impractical. It barely fits a phone, a card holder, and a mint. That's it. No matter how gorgeous it looks, people eventually get tired of playing Tetris with their belongings. Second, the comfort issue. The curved shape sits awkwardly under the arm. The short strap digs into the shoulder, and crossbody versions never sit quite right. Fashion buyers are ruthless with comfort these days. If you can't wear it for a full day without regretting your life choices, the bag is done. Third, oversaturation. The saddle had a massive, loud trend cycle, and luxury bags that blow up too quickly almost always burn out the same way. Everyone bought it, everyone posted it, and then everyone moved on. Fourth, resale prices collapsed. A classic saddle once resold above retail. Now, some go for half the price. That's a death sentence in the luxury world, because brands desperately want their bags to hold status, not become cautionary tales. And finally, Dior is shifting direction. There's a new emphasis on cleaner silhouettes, more timeless lines, and less trend-driven shapes. The saddlebag, with its signature dip, asymmetry, and playful look, doesn't fit the new Dior identity. So, boutiques have started offering saddles more quietly, often as available alternatives, when customers ask for newer releases. It's not discontinued. It's not officially dying. But Dior is absolutely trying to get this bag off the runway before the resale charts embarrass them any further. Take a deep breath, because if you thought Dior trying to quietly bury the saddlebag was dramatic, the final bag on this list is the kind of plot twist no one saw coming. This one isn't just popular, it's legendary. A bag everyone knows, everyone recognizes, and everyone once believed would never fall from luxury grace. Yet in 2025, the brand is doing everything short of whispering, "Please, take it before we have to mark it down." Number 1. The Louis Vuitton Neverfull. Yes, the Neverfull. The bag that practically raised an entire generation of luxury shoppers. One of the most famous, most recognizable, most widely carried bags on the planet. The tote, so iconic, it became the default starter bag for anyone entering the world of designer fashion. And now, Louis Vuitton is trying to move it out faster than any other bag in their lineup. Why such an aggressive push? Let's start with the obvious. The Neverfull is everywhere. Every airport, every mall, every cafe, every college campus, every mother, every traveler, every office worker, every influencer, every reseller. The bag has been so wildly overexposed that luxury buyers no longer see it as luxury. It became the uniform, the participation trophy of the fashion world. And in a category that survives on status and exclusivity, that is a fatal blow. Second, Louis Vuitton has been desperate to reposition its brand. The quiet luxury shift hit them hard. People who once liked flashy monograms want subtler, elevated pieces. The Neverfull's giant canvas and loud prints no longer align with what high-end clients want in 2025. The brand knows this, and that's why they introduced the invitation-only pre-order system, an attempt to make the bag feel exclusive again. It didn't work. Third, the resale market flooded. Neverfulls dropped in value faster than almost any other LV bag. Some pre-loved models are selling for the price of a standard wallet. That kind of resale collapse is disastrous for a luxury house, because once buyers realize a bag doesn't hold value, demand falls off a cliff. Fourth, Louis Vuitton wants to make room for new icons. With Nicolas Ghesquière pushing more structured, runway-level designs, the Neverfull simply doesn't fit the new direction. It's old-era Louis Vuitton. The monogram-heavy, mass-market era the brand is slowly moving away from. So yes, the Neverfull, once an untouchable superstar, is now the very bag LV wants out of boutiques quietly, quickly, and with as little public attention as possible. A legend fading out, not because it wasn't loved, but because it was loved too much. And there you have it. The bag's luxury brands are trying to quietly sweep out of sight in 2025. Some fell off because trends changed, some because the resale market exposed the truth, and some because they were simply everywhere at once. But now that you know what's happening behind the scenes, the real question is, are you grabbing these deals or steering far away? If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more luxury deep dives, and tell us in the comments which bag shocked you the most. See you in the next one.